I still can't get over. I still can't get over how bad that loss was.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Daryl Dapper's joining us live from the Jordan-Hare press box as we record this minutes after you and the rest of the media got done talking to Hugh Freeze, and what seemed, Daryl, to be just reading the quotes when I was live, one of the more tone-deaf experiences I've ever seen.
Man, you're absolutely right. I was there, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was surreal.
Him being asked about the people chanting to fire him, and he's like, yeah, I want to ask for patience, but you don't always get that today. So I'm like, no, we're not gonna, you're not the victim here, dude. And you're not gonna downplay the fans who have supported you through all this crap.
They really have. I consider some of the media in that same bucket of people that gave him the benefit of the doubt, me and you being one of them.
Sure.
I think we need to look. This is a time to be reflective because it's a bigger picture type show. We can't just look at we can about how horrible this was, how bad Auburn played, how it was one of the worst offensive performances, the worst offensive performance I think I've seen in this stadium since I've come here, against a team that was 15th in the conference in defense. We're not talking about a game against an elite defense. And Zach, it's frustrating to be so wrong. It's not a pride thing. It's not an ego thing. This felt different to me than the end of Harson's regime. I really felt like the players were still playing hard for Freeze. I still felt like he cared. I still feel like he worked, right? I'm starting to rethink some of those things. I'm starting to wonder if the priorities weren't so much. I'm not saying he doesn't care, and I'm not saying, but when you don't do things differently and you don't put in different things and try different things, it's lazy to me.
Man, it doesn't look like he cares.
And I will say this. He said it again. He said we are so close 3 times in the press conference, Zach. 3 times he said
he's got to be doing it on purpose, Daryl.
And I audibly made a sound, and I didn't mean to, and I was like, ugh. That's what I did. I did. I just went, when he said it. And coach, and John Cohen was sitting like to my right and 2 rows behind me. And I immediately just kind of looked over my right shoulder just to see his reaction to that. And, to his credit, poker face, just stone face. But I can't imagine as the athletic director, you want to hear that anymore. And this offensive performance was, if I was Auburn, I would think about giving the fans a refund for how bad this was. It was horrible, horrific. The only time you get points is set up on a Melendez interception that gets down to the 30, 40-yard line.
And I know there's ifs, like if Auburn doesn't get that pick, but I feel pretty confident that there's not a scenario where if Melendez or the Auburn defense doesn't give them that field position, they're not scoring.
No, it felt like
a game 0 against this bad defense.
Yeah, it felt like a game where you absolutely were not going to score anything. They had – I can't even come up with the right adjectives to describe how awful that offensive performance is. And this is why it's frustrating, because it's not like it was in the Harsin era where the roster was bare or depleted, right? He has guys. Maybe not the right quarterback, and maybe that's the problem, but he's got running backs, he's got receivers. Now, the offensive line absolutely was horrible tonight. Horrible. They even max protected some on 3rd down, and they got to the quarterback.
Yeah.
But, big picture, it sucks being wrong, because I thought year 3, everything's in place, and I could have never foreseen this. And for the people that said he wasn't the guy and that we were going to see
They're
the
right.
game had passed them by. They are right. I'm a big enough man and a big enough person to say, but I will say this. You don't make that determination, or you don't make that statement, or you don't come to that conclusion year one. That's a little premature and a little naive. You wait to see how things play out. And then when they play out the way they are, you say, yeah, in hindsight. And here we are again, Zach. Here we are again. Could be 4 coaches in 6 years. And I'm concerned. I'm very concerned about this roster. I'm concerned about looking at the recruits' body language that were in the recruiting lounge after this game.
How can you want to come here?
Who wants to come here and play in this bleep show?
Why? Can you imagine, like, the offense? Like, can you think? And I'm being somewhat sarcastic when I ask this, but the answer is not many. But like, how many times have we thrown it to a receiver in stride? They're always running back to the line of script. It's a joke. Like, hey,
never on stride, never when they're running.
You're an incredible receiver. I want you to come here and run curls 40 times a game, please.
Never in stride, never on the move, never when their momentum's already carrying them forward. I think the most unacceptable thing I saw tonight is how Kentucky, who is horrible and had every right to be defeatist because they suck, and we suck more. They came in here more determined,
yes,
more prepared,
yes,
more enthused, more
yes,
fired up. We're playing with emotion. Auburn wasn't. I did have
at
this
home.
I had this weird feeling, Zach, when it got kicked off. It just felt flat. Not the crowd. The team looked flat, and I was a little bit worried. I'm like, they're not excited. They're not enthused. There's no energy. Kentucky came to Auburn's home field and basically was the one that played with all the emotion.
Everybody has, Daryl. Auburn's 2-9 under Freeze at home in SEC play.
That's unacceptable. I mean, I can't even wrap my head around that. And then you throw in there a loss to Cal and New Mexico State too, that are non-conference. Cal and New Mexico State. Are you freaking kidding me?
All right, let's jump into some other things Freeze said, because it's kind of fascinating at this point. That's next right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. I hope you took the under for the Auburn Tigers. And Auburn did not cover the 11.5. They scored 3 points. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Game Time is the best place to buy tickets. So I feel bad for telling the people to buy tickets to Saturday night's game.
Well, there's a lot of other things you can buy tickets to.
Locked On College and save $20.
Yeah, there's a lot of other things you can buy tickets for Game Time. We've chronicled that before.
Yeah. No, basketball's here. Basketball's here. That's right. Use promo code Locked On College for $20 off in the Game Time app today. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Check out Game Time today. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Other things that stood out from Hugh Freeze's presser was what, Daryl?
He said the hardest thing that he's had to do in this season, and the disappointing part, is to look the defense and the defensive staff and keep having to apologize for the offensive performance. Basically, it's the hardest thing I've had to do. Keep them up, keep them motivated, and they did. They played at a really, really high level. I mean, again, I can look and we can nitpick and feel like there were some missed tackles and there was a lot of 3rd and longs that were given up. But at the end of the day, they gave up 10 points to Kentucky. If you give up, and again, what was that? 8 points less than Kentucky's scoring average, right? If you give up 10 points to Kentucky and you don't win the game, then you need to think about playing FCS football. I'm sorry. I mean, I know that's harsh.
Maybe the SEC is not for you.
Yeah, I mean, the Sun Belt might have an opening. I don't know. It's sad. I don't know. I'm being a little bit too negative and salty, and people talk about toxic in the chat at halftime. What do you want us to be? Who could pump sunshine in this environment right now? Are people got their heads buried in the sand that want to say it's not coaching, or this is toxic, or that so-and-so is the only positive member of the media? Look, we've got to call it a spade and be real. This is an
we're admitting we were wrong.
I admitted I felt like I sunshine pumped too long. This is embarrassing. If you are a member of the Auburn family and you've had to watch this crap product for 4 or 5 years, it's ridiculous. People don't understand this historical significance of the era that we're in right now in Auburn football. It's worse than post-World War II. I mean, wrap your head around that. Before the 50s even, I mean, this is just, and yet you have NIL and you have all this resources and you have a sold out stadium and all these things at your disposal, and you can't put an offense together that scores more than 3 points against a horrific Kentucky defense. And people want to complain about, I mean, that's the reality. And I think a majority of the Auburn family and the Auburn nation is right in step and understands that the time has come, that it's time. And some are even ahead of us, ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Well, and I want to be clear on something too. I was in the sense of like, okay, this is going to be made at some point. And like, I'm not usually like, okay, does it make sense to fire them in the seats? We're there now.
We are there. And we were there. We were there. I remember you and I having the same, and this is what makes me just want to take my fist and bang it on this table right now. I hate to even say this. Me and you had this same conversation 3 years ago after an Arkansas game on, oh, by the way, Halloween weekend. And you were in the camp of, it doesn't do any good to go ahead and do it now. Let's just wait till the end of the year. And I was like, get him out of the football complex, because I thought he was more toxic. I mean, and then remember what happened with Cadillac, and there was a revival, and you're like, yeah, this is, people came out and packed the stadium.
Yeah, it was great.
There was pride. You've got 3 games left. If you give Durkin the interim tag and let him lead this team and see how they respond, I don't know who calls plays. I have no clue, because whoever's doing it now doesn't need to be. It
can't get worse.
It can't get worse. So, I mean, get an analyst, get an offensive analyst in here and let them work with the offense.
Maybe we strike gold with somebody. I don't know.
So I think it's time. And I like Hugh Freeze. See, there's the difference. I'm going to be very transparent with you. I personally disliked Brian Harsin. I just did. And there was a lot of reasons for that. And I think they all turned out to be absolutely valid. I don't feel that way about Hugh Freeze. I like him as a person. I know a lot of people don't. I know a lot of people say nasty things about him and attack his character. I think a lot of people in life have made mistakes. And as far as a person and me interacting with him, I have no problem with him personally. It's not like it was how I felt a personal disdain towards Escalade Boy. But this scenario right here it's just a business. And no matter how much you like somebody or how much somebody gives you access, and it's time. It's time. This program just feels it. Like I said, the recruits, Zach, that it's just a heaviness in the recruit. You come out, they're watching the game and they're just frustrated. And you watch, how many of these offensive players are going to say, I'm done. I'm going to get in the.
Why would you want to play offense?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, but if you get somebody that kind of can rally the troops and that the team respects, like a Durkin, and just say he's the interim coach, let's try to salvage this season.
Yeah.
You got to do it, because right now it's dead man walking. It's the most depressing environment, because it shouldn't be expected with kind of talent. That's the difference to me. That I think that there have been Auburn teams in the past, and you looked on the field and you said, man, we're so outmanned, so outgunned. But there are, you know how it's going to prove itself out, Zach? Wait till the next couple NFL drafts and watch the talent off this roster that goes to the NFL, and people are going to be kicking themselves going, are you freaking kidding me? We couldn't win 5 games.
My father-in-law, he's a big Browns fan, and he sent me this like Browns draft article. He sent me a screenshot, and like they had like 4 Auburn Tigers there, and he's like, I didn't realize y'all had this many guys like expected to go in the first 50 picks, and I'm like, yeah, but our coach can't figure out how to win.
That's an indictment when you've got guys. You may get a couple guys that go in the first round. You may get guys that go on, the second, third. I mean, there's going to be a lot of players that are going to be on NFL rosters.
No, they're going to have a shot. There's, I mean, obviously Cam and Eric. There's going to be guys on this offensive line.
Had Connor Lew not gotten hurt? Yeah, I mean,
Connor Lew. I think there's going to be a few guys that they still like. I think.
Look at the defense: Falk and Atkins, and the secondary, and
right. I mean, I don't want to list like our whole team, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of guys for sure. What if they don't? What if he doesn't fire him on Sunday?
Then you're going to lose a lot of credibility in the eyes of your fans, and you're going to do irreparable damage. You can do damage that lasts for a year to 2 to 3 years. Pull the Band-Aid off quick now, and try to salvage what you can so that there's hope and stuff going forward. If you play around and let this thing linger, you're in danger of prolonging A, the bounce back, and B, the support that you've gained that has just been – I mean, there's a lot of people walking out of the stadium tonight that are just apathetic right now. They're like, I don't even want to come back. I mean, seriously, I mean, you got an Iron Bowl that's going to be played here, and this place may have a lot of crimson.
Sucks.
Unless you do the right thing and let somebody coach the last 3 games and have some enthusiasm, some hope.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still this defense can give you a shot against Vandy. I mean, I don't know how you score points. I don't know how you score points against anybody at this point.
If you can't score points, I mean, they struggled to score points against Arkansas. Okay. And then look what Mississippi State did, put 38 on them. And Auburn struggled to score points against Arkansas. Let's be honest. I'm going to say it again. This team struggled to score points against South Alabama in the second half. Scored a field goal against a group of 5. Should have seen it then. Right. And then
thought it was just playing down to the competition, whatever.
Yeah. Baylor was really the only game that the offense.
Yeah. The Baylor game threw off the first half of this because they looked so like everything that you were supposed to do, they did. It was like, oh my goodness.
On the road, won by multiple scores. Then you've got 2 cupcakes coming to your stadium. And it started to see a crack in the veneer in the second half of the South Alabama game. That's when you started to see it. And then they struggled against Oklahoma, and everybody said Oklahoma's defensive line is so good.
What do you think of the QB management?
Okay, well, what he said on that was, the question was asked.
Oh, good. I missed this.
Yeah, is that the reason why he put Jackson in is because he was hoping for a spark.
Sure.
And the spark didn't come, and he actually felt like from a pass rush standpoint, it was worse than when Ashton was in there, so he put Ashton back, and he gave him a better chance as far as his elusiveness because they just couldn't block anybody. So that's why they went back to him.
I mean, Ashton did better.
He did. I feel like, I don't know. I'm a scheme guy. If your offensive line is getting whipped like that, then you've got to do something as a coach to change that. Get the ball out quicker, whatever. Now, Kentucky, to their credit, and I'm shocked, did a really good job of stopping the run, and they didn't do it with loading the box. They played a cloud. They played a cloud coverage, is what it's called, where they take the roof off, but there still should have been running. They took away you going up top. What they call going roof. There should have been running lanes, and there wasn't, and that's just them whipping Auburn's offensive line, man on man, helmet on helmet.
Yeah, and in the first half, a lot of it was Cale Ellis.
Yeah.
But once again, like I said this a lot when we went live with the bar, and I said it live in post game. Like Cale Ellis is 17. Like I know we joke about like him being 17, but like he shouldn't be in this spot as a center. That's a big deal, and like that's going to fix itself after he goes through an off season of workout. Like I'm not worried about that as far as Cale Ellis goes.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a good player.
I do too. And then I think some of the slide protections didn't make sense, but whatever. And then in the second half, towards like over the course of the game, it was the edges that were losing. So
Did you realize? Do you know how many possessions Auburn got in the third quarter?
1 or 2. It wasn't many.
One possession in the third quarter. Now,
you know where it started? You know where it started?
You talking about possession?
Yeah.
Like the 12-yard line?
9. Let me read you this. I've read this. I mean, it's such a big deal because like our special teams in year 3 are still just like we can't get field position. Auburn's starting yardage for every drive: 15, 2, 12, the 25, 12, the Kentucky 35, Melendez's pick, the Auburn not this second half now. The Auburn 9, the Auburn 8, the Auburn 17, the Auburn 9.
And a lot of that was special teams trying to run stuff out, catching punts inside the 5. If you want to encapsulate Auburn's season in one play, it's the interception. And I'm walking behind Kentucky's bench when it happens. Okay. And I see Fagan's running, and I'm going, he's going to get hit from behind. He's going to get hit from behind. He gets hit from behind. I didn't know he fumbled. Then I see everyone going for the ball, and I'm like, that's it. Because that was 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and Auburn would have had the ball at midfield.
Yep.
We still don't know, though, if they would have done anything.
Yeah, I mean, they could have got a field goal, you know.
I for somebody,
it hurts so bad, dude.
Yeah, the offensive, you get an offensive coach in here that has offensive pedigree that turned Malik Willis into a stud, and you're in year 3 and you're worse. So let me just say this. I want to go on the record to say this. It wasn't Peyton Thorne. It wasn't Robbie Ashford. It wasn't Jackson Arnold. It's not Ashton Daniels. It's the position they got. Now, did they hold on to the ball too long? Did they make sense? But I'm telling you.
Yeah, they're not perfect, but
they
were not put in a situation to succeed. That's
exactly,
for sure.
Exactly.
Daryl, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Follow me on X, DAP6410.
I'm sorry, Dap, just real quick.
Yeah.
Programming note, if he gets let go today, we'll try to get a show up as soon as possible. I mean, I've got church stuff, and we watched the Patriots game at my mom's house or whatever, but like I'm gonna bring my stuff with me. We'll get one up as soon as we can. Okay.
Absolutely. And then Monday night we go live after the basketball game from Neville Arena. We've got that coming up.
Yep.
Bethune-Cookman, and our normal shows we do during the week.
Please like the video, please subscribe, and we will see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.